Is it worth coming to Hua Hin in 2025 and 2026? Some people say that Hua Hin is like the islands of Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, Koh Tao, just without the crazy prices. Other people say that it's a massive retirement village. So what is the truth? That's what we'll discuss in this video. So let's find out. I've come here to Khao Phin Lek Hay Viewpoint. Probably just butchered that, but wow, look at that view. You can see the golf course as well. And this viewpoint is actually so cool. There's like 6 or 7 different actual viewpoints, all with slightly different angles. You can see the mountains back there as well, but this is definitely one of the best.
But yeah, this viewpoint is so cool. It's actually only a 10-minute drive from where I'm staying, and because there's so many different platforms, you can come back here multiple times if you want and explore something a bit new.
And yeah, in this video, I'm going to be showing you exactly what life here in Hua Hin looks like. I'm also going to be showing you everything from nightlife, nature, activities, food, community, and accommodation. Speaking of which, let's go there now.
But first, let's actually talk about how you get to Hua Hin. Now, personally, I came from Samui, so I had to get a ferry, which in all honesty was not too bad, pretty comfortable. And then I eventually arrived at Chumphon Port and then got a bus up to Hua Hin. And if you were coming from even places south of Koh Samui, like Phuket, you could go through a similar route. Alternatively though, most people will probably be coming to Hua Hin from Bangkok. And in that instance, you can just get a bus from Bangkok to Hua Hin. It will roughly take you 3 hours. And pro tip, would definitely recommend you pay the extra for the VIP bus as it's a lot more comfortable. And as for where I'm actually staying, I'll give a full tour in next week's video, but this is essentially the living area, very fast Wi-Fi as you can see. But yeah, I really like it here. It's obviously got a balcony as well. It's got a little reading nook, which is cool to hang out at. And it's overall a just really modern, really comfortable area as a whole. Yeah, I can't really complain, to be honest.
But by far the best thing about this place is its location. I'm located really centrally here in Hua Hin. As a matter of fact, the Market Village, which is by far the biggest mall here in Hua Hin, is actually only a short 5-minute walk from my home, so makes it really convenient to access all the, key bits of infrastructure and all the amenities that Hua Hin has to offer here. Speaking of which, that's what I'm going to go show you now. So let's go.
And while we make our way to Market Village, I just thought that I'd point out that Hua Hin as a city is really developed, it's really built up, and it's actually quite walkable, so it's a really convenient city to live centrally. But as I said earlier, Market Village is the biggest mall in Hua Hin, and I go here at least every second day. It has everything from big supermarkets, bakeries. There's endless, pop-up stalls for things like clothes that are really, really affordable. On the bottom floor as well, there is a massive food court that does all sorts of different cuisines, and I definitely recommend you check it out. It's a great spot for lunch. And it's really, really nice to have these sorts of amenities around because it just makes, especially long-term living, so much more convenient. And speaking of convenience for transportation here in Hua Hin, I got the Yamaha NMAX for a month, which was pretty cheap in all honesty, way cheaper than it was in Samui. But you absolutely don't need to rent a bike because taxis here in Hua Hin are crazy cheap. Like a 10-minute taxi will only set you back a couple of dollars. And if you were to even go with a cheaper option, if you were to take a 10-minute bike ride, for instance, it can be as cheap as like $1. So you absolutely don't have to rent a bike if you don't want to. And I've come here to Raja Bhakti Park, which is a monument just outside of Hua Hin, which has 7 different ginormous statues. The camera doesn't really do it justice, to be honest, but each of these statues is dedicated towards a Thai king that is extremely significant throughout history. The oldest dates back to, I think, 1200-ish AD, with the most recent being in the 1900s, and all of these kings are really significant, whether they were just really great leaders of Thailand or whether they were great military generals. And it's really cool to be able to visit monuments like this that actually tell a pretty decent amount about Thai history and Thai culture, which is definitely a nice change from the beautiful landscapes of Koh Samui, as cool as they are. And Hua Hin as a whole has quite a few of these really cool monuments that you can actually go to. Definitely the best activity or monument that I've been to while I was here in Hua Hin was Prionathon Cave, which was incredible. It is quite a drive away from Hua Hin. It's about an hour drive. But in next week's video, I'll be going into a lot of detail about that specific place, so make sure you subscribe not to miss that. But there's so many cool things to do here in Hua Hin from an activities point of view. I definitely think that Hua Hin relies more on its sort of monuments and activities more so than its nature compared to a place like Koh Samui, but yeah, still really, really cool. And I've come here to this cool little coffee shop that I found. There's basically endless options for this sort of stuff in Hua Hin, but yes, really, really cool, this one. There's lots of nature, there's like a little library, and the coffee's actually made by this lovely Thai grandmother. It's really, really cool. And there's also this cool little courtyard area out here, so I figured I'd take a chance to talk about a few more things you absolutely need to know about Hua Hin. We already touched a bit on activities earlier as well, but one thing I will add to that is if you're coming to Hua Hin, you absolutely need to check out the night markets because they're the coolest I've ever seen. There's 3 night markets throughout Hua Hin. There's the Hua Hin main market, which is known for its seafood and trinkets and things like that. You know, you can buy a squid and get it fried on like a barbecue just right next to you. It's really, really cool experience. Next, there's Tamarind Market, which is a massive, massive food market. And it's not just Thai food. There's lots of Western food and really nice Western food as well. There's this one particular place that has a wood-fired pizza oven and it does incredible pizzas, honestly some of the best in Hua Hin, and lots of other really cool things there as well. And right next to that, literally just across the road, is Cicada Market, which is a really sort of I'd describe it as a more upscale bougie market. There's more sort of families and stuff there. There's more really nice souvenirs or clothes or things like that. And there's also a really cool beer garden where you can, you know, get a few drinks, listen to some live music. There's every now and then performances. Like when I was there was a magic show. So the night markets here in Hua Hin are absolutely incredible. You really, really need to check them out if you're coming here. First of all, let's talk about the food. And to be honest, this is something that's really, really surprised me about Hua Hin because I wasn't expecting the food to be as amazing as it was because, trust me, the food in Hua Hin is absolutely exceptional. Not only is it really affordable, especially for that more sort of luxury dining experience, but there's unlimited cuisines, unlimited options, some standout options that I really like. One of them is Lalu's Rooftop Bar and Restaurant. It's absolutely incredible, all sorts of cuisines, the food's amazing, the venue is awesome, and that's a bit of an idea of what you can sort of expect here in Hua Hin. I just came from Koh Samui, and as amazing as the food there is, there's not unlimited options like I feel there is here in Hua Hin, and I guess that's just to be expected from a really, you know, built-up city like Hua Hin. I will say something I was slightly disappointed by was the coffee in Hua Hin. It's definitely not as good as Koh Samui, and there's definitely not as many sort of high-tier options. But next up, let's talk about the nightlife here in Hua Hin, and to be honest, it has been quite disappointing, I'd say. Most of the really big bar streets tend to more cater towards sort of elderly, middle-aged men, if I'm being honest. There are some, you know, normal, just traditional Thai bars where you can just get like a cheap beer and play some pool and stuff like that, but there's definitely not like any young people when it comes to the nightlife scene. There are some really nice sort of upscale, you know, bars and things like that where you can get like a really enjoyable drink just with some friends or something. And in that sense, it's not too bad because that's personally what I like anyway. But if you're coming to Hua Hin for the purpose of nightlife, do be expected that there's not much off it. When it comes to the nature here in Hua Hin Beach, for the most part, is a, you know, nice, okay beach. It's got a really beautiful sunrise every morning. But if you're looking to experience some, you know, lush greenery that you could find in other parts of Thailand, as you might expect, you do, generally speaking, have to drive a bit out of the city, but there are some incredible, you know, nature-related things you can see here in Hua Hin. I forget the name, but the national park that Prionathon Cave is located in is absolutely beautiful. You know, cave and temple apart. The national park is insane, incredible nature, so you definitely can find it in Hua Hin. You just need to drive and sort of find it, whereas a place like Koh Samui, it's kind of just all around you, you know what I mean? When it comes to community and the people you can actually meet here in Hua Hin definitely has a bit of a reputation as like a sort of retirement village, and I'll be honest, there are a lot of old people in Hua Hin, a lot of retirees, a lot of Western retirees, but there are also quite a few young people. And the interesting thing I'll say about that is the young people that generally speaking are in Hua Hin, they're more staying here for like a month, couple of months, a lot of people even indefinitely, which was a nice surprise. I will say though, if you're looking to meet sort of people in like their, young, mid-20s, that sort of thing, there's not that many people like that in Hua Hin. It's more sort of late 20s and over, which I think makes sense because, like I said, most people that I've met here in Hua Hin, they're not here for like a week or just passing through, they're here long term. And if you are coming here to Hua Hin to work remotely, there are 1 or 2 co-working spaces that are okay. They're pretty small, if I'm being honest. I toured one of them and I didn't get any footage off it, but it was pretty small. There's no things like call booths or anything like that. And that's because I think Hua Hin as a location or, a hotspot for digital nomads, it's still in the infancy, I'd say. I think if you're coming to Hua Hin in 2026, sometime like that, I think it will be a lot more ready for people that are working remotely then. But at the moment, if you're looking for sort of co-working spaces and things like that, it's not quite there yet. As I said earlier, there's endless options for things like food or coffee. So there's tons of places where you can leave and your house and work there. But if you need like a fully dedicated office, it's not the best place to be. Me personally, especially because I spend a lot of my time on calls and things like that, I normally just work from my home and, my home's comfortable enough. It's fine to work at. But every now and then I like to go to cafes and stuff like that and work there. But overall, would I recommend you come to Hua Hin? Absolutely. There's so many cool things you can do at Hua Hin. Pride Cave, honestly, was one of the most incredible experiences that I've had anywhere in the world, let alone Thailand. So if you are coming to Hua Hin, definitely make sure you do that. But if you are coming to Hua Hin, to be honest, I don't really think it's the place you want to spend like a few weeks. I think it's either one of those places you pass through for a couple of days or you stay here long term for a month or longer. Personally, would I come back to Hua Hin? Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely come back to Hua Hin, but like I said, I've sort of done all the novelty and all the activities that you can do here in Hua Hin. So if I did come back, it would be on a more long-term basis, at least for a month or something like that, just to sort of focus on work and things like that. And I'd say, if you are someone that is, focused on business or focused on work, focused on exercise, whatever it might be, Hua Hin's a really great place for that as well, especially for me, for example. There's no sort of, vibrant parties like you might find at the full moon party, for instance. So it's really good to just focus on that. And on top of that, it is undoubtedly one of the most affordable places in Thailand, which is a really, really awesome perk. But to be honest, I do definitely think I'll be coming back to Hua Hin in 2026. I'll probably stay here for a month. I did actually make some really good friends here. So yeah, Hua Hin's a really cool place. I think if you're looking to base yourself somewhere long term, definitely consider Hua Hin. It's a really cool option.